Muraho mwese. Muraho mwese. Ndabona Dani na Fidelia na Eric na Nathan na Simon. Murakoze kwitabira. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. I'd like to invite Simon, if Simon is ready, to go ahead and start with the introduction.
Ready.
Yes, thank you, Edwidge, and thank you to everyone for joining us today. It's a pleasure having all of you.
Please can you turn your camera on, Simon?
Pardon? Okay.
Start mic.
Yes. Thank you, Nathan. And so as I was saying, today it's a pleasure we are joining the Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization in this webinar meeting, and it's a webinar meeting for inclusive employment for persons with intellectual disabilities in Rwanda. Next slide. Yes, and so the webinar is one of a series of webinar meetings on inclusive employment for persons with intellectual disabilities, with 5 webinars in 5 countries, and that includes Bangladesh, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, and Uganda. Thank you. Next.
Inclusive.
The webinar series is supported by Down Syndrome International and the International Disability Alliance. This work is funded by Inclusive Features, a UK aid-funded consortium of 16 disability and development organizations led by Sightsavers, working to create a future that is inclusive of people with disabilities.
This webinar.
Yes, this webinar is focused on the inclusive employment of persons with intellectual disabilities in Rwanda. It is led by Eric Ishimwe and other self-advocates with the Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization.
Music.
Yes, attendees, just a reminder to all of us that do not have the ability to speak, but you can all contribute through, you can say hi and make a comment in the chat box. Then secondly, you can use the Q&A box to ask our panelists a question. We will try to answer this during the session itself. And then it's also our encouragement that if anyone has a connection problem, kindly let us know. We will be able to help you rectify it. And then a recording of this session will be set to all registrars afterwards. So all of you will be able to receive at least a recording of this meeting. And then finally, we will also be sending you a link to a short survey of feedback and etc. So you're kindly welcome, and I hand over back to Edwidge and the team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon, for the introduction. And thank you for everyone who have been able to join the webinar. Thank you for the self-advocates and for Nathan and the DSI to make this happen. We're gonna go ahead and share a screen with, so can help our self-advocates to make a presentation. Oh, sorry. Okay. So the presentation will talk about the inclusive employment for people with Down syndrome in Rwanda. I'll be translating in Kinyarwanda so everybody can be on the same board. Everybody can understand what's happening. So if you hear 2 languages, don't get confused. Mainly the slide is in English, but I'll be summarizing in Kinyarwanda the same way when the self-advocates will be speaking. We will try to translate what they will be saying. So Down syndrome, as everybody knows, it's a condition in which a person has an extra chromosome, mostly chromosome 21. Mu Kinyarwanda, na karemangingo k'inyongera ka 21 abantu bavukana. People with Down syndrome live healthy lives when given adequate support from an early age. Nk'uko mubizi, babona iyo bitaweho kuva bakiri bato, babasha kubaho ubuzima bukwiye bwikwije. They can attend schools and they can make their own decisions. Babasha kujya ku ishure kandi bashobora kwifatira ibyemezo. With the right support, they live an independent life. Baramutse babonye ubufasha bukwiye, bashobora kubaho ubuzima bwikwije nk'abantu bafata ibyemezo. Down syndrome in Rwanda, Down syndrome mu Rwanda. In Rwanda, there's 700 people diagnosed with Down syndrome. Mu Rwanda hari abantu 700 bamaze kumenyekana bafite Down syndrome, ariko bararenga. Abo ngabo nibo bazwi. To promote lives of people with Down syndrome, Rwanda signed the UNCRPD since 2008. U Rwanda rwasinye amasezerano mpuzamahanga areba abantu bafite ubumuga kuva 2008. Despite political will, people with disabilities in Rwanda are less educated, less likely to be employed, and more likely to live in poverty than people without a disability. Bigaragara yuko nubwo guverinoma yacu ikora uko ishoboye, ariko abantu bafite ubumuga ntago bafite amahirwe yo kuba bafite barabonye uburezi bwo mashure, kandi cyangwa kubona kandi nabyo bigatuma batabona akazi, ari nabyo bituma baba mu bukene ugereranyije n'abandi bantu. To make a change, a group of young adults with Down syndrome has been created to advocate the rights of people with intellectual disability or with disability in Rwanda. Kugira ngo hagire impinduka, habayeho groupe y'abantu bafite Down syndrome b'abajene bakoze groupe kugira ngo batangure gukora ubuvugizi ku burenganzira bw'abantu bafite ubumuga. One of the right being right for employment, ari nacyo kintu tuza kuganira uno munsi. So one of the right being right for the employment as per UNCRPD Article 27 is what we're going to focus on today. I'm going to give a speech to the first self-advocate here called Eric Ishimwe. He's going to talk about himself, and he's speaking Kinyarwanda. He's a Kinyarwanda speaker, and we will translate so everybody can follow his presentation. Eric, muraho? Yego, gerageze kuvuga cyane. Ushobora kwivuga ukongera kandi ukatwibwira amazina yawe, imyaka yawe, n'ibyo mukora.
Eric.
You with us?
Grupo yitwa Down syndrome. Nenda kutuma foto. Nenda kugema. Attention. Nifuza kubona akazi. Nasoza Siberia. Chuta karo. Ashimisha. Ashimisha cyane. Murakoze.
Pacifique, mushobora kudusemurira. Can you translate, Pacifique, what Eric just said? And
Yeah, thank you very much. Eric has started by telling his name. He's called Ishimwe Eric. He has 23 years old and he lives with Down syndrome. He has been volunteering with Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization for 4 years, and he is very happy for that. He likes to dance and to play football, and when he's at home, he usually play games of PlayStation. He has visited Fidelia, who works in who has an employment, and she is in charge of customer care in the warehouse of her parents. Eric wants to have a job, and that will make him very happy. He has concluded by thanking all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pacifique, for the translation. So, Eric, ushobora kutubwira, can you tell us your wish? Or can you tell us also what in terms of work, what would you like to do? Ushobora kutubwira ibyifuzo byawe, icyo wakwifuza gukora?
Nifuza kubona akazi. Ari uyu munsi. Nifuza nyubwiro. Nifuza gukoropa, kukubura, rwose ubwondo. Of course.
Okay, good. Pacifica, would you like to translate that, or?
Yeah, he was saying that he wished to have a work, a permanent work, from Monday to Friday, and he would like to earn money with a salary, and also he is able of physical works, because even when he is at home, he is able to do things like those, and he will appreciate to have also a job like that, a physical or manual work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pacifique and Eric, for a great presentation. Eric is one of the active member of Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization, has been with the organization for 4 years, I think, and has been doing a great job advocating on behalf of people with Down syndrome. So we thank you, Eric, so much for the presentation, and we hope that your wish comes true. We'd like to move with the next presenter. I'd like to speak to the next presenter, Fidelia. Fidelia, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Fidelia, ushobora kutuganiriza, ukatubwira uriwe, ukatubwira ibyo ukora, ukatubwira umunsi ku wundi ibyo ukora mu kazi ka buri munsi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Fidelia. Muzaki. Makumyabiri n'itanu. Kazi. Marangi. Rangete. Imisumari. Beto. Byose. Na ferabeto.
Okay, my name, she's saying her name is Fidelia Wizakiza. She's 25 years old. She works in a hardware store. She sells different items from the store. Fidelia, ushobora kutubwira imyaka umaze ukora muri iyo duka. Can you tell us how long you've been working in the store?
14.
So I've been working there for 14 years. Hanyuma amashure wagarukiye mu wakangahe?
Wagatatu.
So I stopped education at primary 3. Ushobora kutubwira impamvu wahagaritse kujya ku ishure ugahitamo gukora?
Kubera kurwara umutima.
So the reason I stopped going to school, it's because I had a health condition, mainly the heart. She had to go under heart surgery, and it was hard for her to follow through with the education. Next. So Fidelia, ushobora kutubwira ku kazi ibyo ukora umunsi ku wundi, icyo ushinzwe. Can you tell us what you do at work and what your responsibilities?
Customer care. Nshinzwe care and ndabakira hagari byinshi cyane. Hari igihe naruhuka, hari igihe urakaza cyangwa kuzana ibintu muri stock, imisumari, rangete, byinshi cyane n'amarangi yo kuvanga amarangi ntabwo ari kuvanga ibindi byose.
Okay, I work in the store. I'm in charge of customer care. I'm in charge of bringing and taking back the items. Ikindi watubwira ku byama kwiduka ujya ukora, umuntu mukorana ninde?
Umuhoza na mama, manager.
I get support from my mother and from another staff. Ujya ku kazi buri munsi?
Nje muri munsi. Wa gatandatu wa mbere.
So I go to work every day, except Saturday when I go to church. Next slide. Fidelia, ushobora kutubwira mu magambo yawe uza gusura ikigo cya Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization, uganiriza abandi bantu ku bintu birebana n'akazi. Can you tell us when you visited Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization and spoke about employment?
Narabyishimiye. Twasura n'ingombwa nuko nazaza kunsura no mu rugo, famiye.
I was very happy to visit Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization and speak about employment to the advocate group Hirwa. Ushobora kutubwira, can you tell us about Dubai?
Dubai.
Watubwiye ko wagiye Dubai.
Yes.
There you go. Dubai is beautiful. mwagiye gukora iki? What did you go to do there?
The trip. Tembea, plus. Kuruhuka. Yes.
Went with her family. It was a vacation trip. And the other thing we can mention is Fidelia drives a car. She mentioned that she drives sometimes, or she drove sometimes. Ushobora kutubwira nimba ugitwara imodoka cyangwa ukiga gutwara imodoka?
Yego ndabizi. Yes. Ndabizi.
Warakomeje gutwara?
Yego.
So she drives sometimes with support.
Yes.
So Fidelia is one of the very independent self-advocate that we've met, who holds a job and who enjoys working at the family hardware store. Fidelia, ushobora kutubwira impamvu wishimira kuba ukora n'icyo bikumariye mu magambo yawe bigushimisha? Can you tell us why you're happy to have a job and how important it is for you to have a job?
Umunezero. Se n'imyitwarire yanjye ameze kubakira nakumva.
Ntago nakumvise neza, ushobora gusubiramo?
Ndavuze.
She was saying, I'm sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, Diana. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm her sister.
Yes.
So she was saying that she likes to, like, the reason why she goes to, to do her daily job, to work, is to be able to find friends, to should I say to remove the part of maybe being alone or lonely, to help, and it makes her happy. It brings her happiness when she's with people. She gets to have new friends and help others. As she was helped, she helps others. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, sounds good. Sounds really good. Thank you so much, Fidelia. Is there something else you'd like to add, Fidelia, for people who don't have, who'd like to have a job? Wagira abantu bakwifuza gushakisha akazi, kubona akazi bakamera nkawe?
Akazi keza ariko keza cyane arengera ariko keza.
And she was saying,
yeah,
that the good thing is to have self-confidence and to like love yourself and have self-confidence and believe you can do it, no matter how you are, how sick you are. Should like what keeps her moving is because we were there for her. She has people for her, so also others could help themselves by going to work, to try to communicate, to know each other. Yeah, and also she says she would love to have her friends, you guys, to try and visit her home.
What was the last thing you said, Diana? She'd like her friends?
And you guys to come and visit her home anytime.
Oh, thank you so much for the invitation, Fidelia. We'll definitely be happy. More self-advocates would like to come and learn from you so they can advocate more about employment and learn from your great job. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for Fidelia for your great job. So we're gonna move to the next person. This is Dani Mugenzi. Sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. Dani, Imena, haja vuga amazina yawe. Murengezi. Yes, Murengezi, sorry. Tubwire imyaka yawe. Imena, tubwire icyo mujya mukora.
Ndiga.
Amazina? Wari wayavuze harya? Yego. I'm a student. Wiga he? Wiga iki?
Niga hanga.
Mukaba mwiga iki? What do you take at school?
Kwiga imyuga.
Okay, I'm going to Gahanga School, and I do vocational, tech vocational skills. Niye myuga?
Kwiga tukora amasaro.
So I learned how to make necklaces and bracelets out of beads. Next. Ushobora kutubwira, can you tell us about your role at the Special Olympics, especially in 2019? Ushobora kutubwira kuri urugendo rwawe Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi nisonga boccia.
In Abu Dhabi, I played the boccia game. Ego. And I was awarded a bronze medal.
There are bronze.
Ego. Niyo sport yonyine ujya ukora, Imena? Is it the only sport you do? Hari indi mikino ujya ukina? I like to jump ropes. Hari ibindi mwakoze muri Abu Dhabi? Did you do any other competition or sports in Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi.
I only did the game, but I know that you like to dance, Imena. You dance a lot at the organization, when you come to Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization during the training on advocacy. Ujuza ukabyina. Nzi ko ukunda kubyina cyane. Urazi kubyina cyane. Very good dancer. If I go back a little bit, maybe to what you do at school, or maybe it's the next slide, maybe we can talk more about your responsibilities and your role at school. Ushobora kutubwira, tuganiriza ukatubwira ibyo mukora ku ishure birebana cyane nayo n'iby'amasaro n'indi myuga mujya mwiga ku ishure. Nabonye I make use beads to make necklaces and bracelet. Ibindi mujya mukora, other things you do at school that helps you work towards the employment, ibigufasha kuzabona akazi.
akazi ko gucunga abana.
Okay, one of the responsibility that he's mentioning is they gave him they make him in charge of discipline at school. So the school has I think nursery and primary students, and Imena is one of the candidates that were nominated to be in charge of the students, so they don't go out of the school or they don't get lost. So it's good really to know that the school sees potential and ability in Imena to give such responsibility. How do you feel about being responsible or having such responsibility, Imena? Wiyumvamo gute kubona ufite iyo nshingano yo gukurikirana abana?
Gucunga abana bataturuka hanze.
Urumva bigushimisha? Are you happy to do that job?
Icyamishimishije ni ukwinjiza abana mu ishuri.
Ego. Tristan, is that something else that you'd like to add on? I know Imena is very responsible and a very active person at home and at school, even at the organization. When he comes, is a very good participant. Would you like to add something that we miss out here?
Well, I think it was the last thing he said he was really happy of organizing his fellows at school and making sure they're disciplined. And maybe I think he should also add on what he would like to do in the future as a job. I think he's being shy a little bit, but yeah, he before he was saying about what they do at school, including these necklaces you're seeing here, and also some bags. I think some bags are there as well, and as he said, he has represented Rwanda in the World Special Olympics Games, which brought together people with different disabilities from all over the world to participate in the games, and he scored the third place on the world level because he was the third in boccia worldwide, and in Africa he was the best. However, he's also doing swimming. In 2019, he was the second winner in the swimming competition of the Special Olympics. So he's more good in swimming and boccia, and he's now getting ready to go to Belgium next year for the swimming in the Special Olympics. So he's more good in sports. Yes, that's what I would add. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, Imena. Ibyiza cyane. We knew that you were doing a lot of sports. We just didn't remember what exactly, but swimming is a very competitive sport, and it's fantastic that you are doing great in that area. So Imena, turishimye kumenya yuko ukomeza gukora kujya muri ayo marushanwa, kandi uzakomeza kujya userukira abantu bafite Down syndrome, ko bigaragara yuko abantu bafite Down syndrome bashoboye iyo babashije kubona support. It just shows from all self-advocates presentation and experiences. It shows that people with Down syndrome or intellectual disability, when given opportunities and given the right support from the early age, they can actually achieve so much. If you can, everybody can hear from these presentations, you can tell that with a lot of support, people can really get far. So I think these were the presentations from the self-advocates. So I don't know if we can move to the question and answer. Maybe Nathan or Simon can tell us.
Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot, really, Edwige. And thanks a lot to the self-advocates. We highly appreciate you, and we also want to move a vote of thanks to our people who have joined us and etc. Thanks for taking your time. Now we're moving to the question and answer and etc. And kindly feel free to share your question in the question box, and we shall be able to read out and give the panelists will be able to respond to you. So thanks. Welcome, Nathan, to read through the questions.
From Maliko.
So we don't have any questions yet. If you want to ask a question, then if you see at the bottom of the screen, there's a Q&A button, question and answer. And if you would like to write your question in there, and then we will pass over to the self-advocates to answer.
I think we see a lot of comments, great comments. I'm not sure if there are questions yet.
I can read out some of the comments, maybe. So we have lots of people saying great presentations. Thank you so much. This is really interesting and meaningful. Thank you for your nice presentation. Lots of support can make lots of difference. A great presentation, team. There's lots of good comments for all the presenters. I don't know if you wanted to translate that a bit, Edwige.
Oh, which one?
Well, just the kind of thing I've just said. I just read the last few comments.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, sorry. Turi gusoma ibyo abantu bagiye bandika, abantu bakurikiranye iki kiganiro barabashimira cyane kuba mwabashije gukora ikiganiro cyiza, barashimira buri umwe wese akazi mukora, ibyo mukora birashimishije, birafasha. Go ahead if there's more.
So we had a few more comments. So lovely presentation and positive work. Well done. I love your zeal to represent your country at the Special Olympics. You're an inspiration to other self-advocates.
Barashima, abantu benshi bagiye bashima presentation zagiye zikorwa, kandi barashimira Murengezi Dani Imena kuba userukira igihugu na bagenzi bawe mu marushanwa ya sport.
So we have a question here. So one is, are there any possibilities or opportunities for people to work in real workplaces? I guess that means in Rwanda.
Kimwe mu kibazo babajije ni ukubaza nimba hari amahirwe yo kubasha gukora mu Rwanda. We had actually a person who was supposed to join us and talk a little bit as a potential employer for people with a disability. But before he joins, we've had a chance as Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization to speak to potential employers, and we've had few people who are willing to employ, oh, I see Gilbert. Okay, maybe should we, I can finish, I can continue and then give the floor to Gilbert to talk about employment of people with disability in Rwanda as a potential employer. So there's a lot of willingness to employ people with disability or intellectual disability in Rwanda. It just people don't know how to go by it, how to do it, and also the skills. So like as you heard, Murengezi Dani, he's done some he's doing some vocational training which can help him maybe to be placed in a certain job. But most of people with intellectual, they have ability, but they haven't been exposed to different skills so they can be placed in different employment when the time comes. So maybe I'll just, I don't know how much time, Gilbert, I see that you just joined. Thank you for coming, for being with us. One of the questions we just got from the audience is to ask if there's a possibility of employment in Rwanda for people with intellectual disability, and we want to hear that from you as somebody who has the willingness to employ people with disabilities, but also who's a potential employer.
Thank you very much, Edwige. And thank you all for allowing me to be a part of this opportunity to speak to this. Yes, so I'll speak as a potential employer. The opportunity to hire and employ people with disability is definitely, there and exists, and there are companies in Rwanda that have done that, and there are definitely more that are willing to do that. But I think that a lot of times it's usually a lot of bias that people don't have. I mean, it's a lot of bias that people have towards people with disability, or lack of information, and really sometimes it's also due to lack of advocacy from organizations, or maybe lack of the ability or the resources to be able to reach out to companies, sort of have a campaign to say, hey, they're a group of members of this society that are not being included in employment. And sometimes there's just that need to push that and to explain that. There are employers that are willing, but they just haven't been given the opportunity, or maybe they haven't even thought about it, or sometimes just don't realize that people with disabilities do have abilities and they are able to carry out tasks and duties and responsibilities within their organizations. So I just wanted to highlight the possibility and what I think is there. Now, for me as a potential employer, I'm very much interested, excited at the prospects. I do think, however, that organizations, in this particular case, DSI in partnership with the Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization, as an entrepreneur operating in Rwanda, I think there would be some needs that I would probably want out of an organization like Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization. First, whether it's me as a company owner or our staff, our team that do hire, would be, first thing would be to understand, first of all, a lot of times people don't know what Down syndrome is, what abilities, what disabilities, what capabilities exist within the spectrum of the different individuals and human beings that are living with Down syndrome. So I think first is the information that needs to come out in a clear way. Second is, with that information, training on how to create an environment that is accepting of people with disabilities, because I, as an employer, might be able to hire somebody, but the rest of my team might still have biases or be discriminatory towards people with disabilities. So training on how to create a space that is a safe environment for employees in general, but probably more specific to employees with Down syndrome, or in this case with disabilities. So I think training would be great in ensuring that we have a way to create a safe environment. Most of the time, it's also around looking at different people have different needs. And so sometimes companies might be willing, but might not have the resources to carry out the needs. So it could be somebody that might need an assistant or might need some extra support. And you either don't have the resource, which could be people resource, so like an extra person to help and support and provide the assistance. And sometimes it also just is a financial resource that is lacking. So I might be willing to hire someone, but I might actually not have the money to hire someone. So given that hiring sometimes is to provide an opportunity for people to learn and grow and experience, almost like an internship. So maybe just being able to offer transportation or a meal. So there's financial resources that would sometimes not be available for a company to be able to get on somebody, but the willingness might be there, and things that can be done might be there. So that could be another support that could be there. Maybe not in entirety, but some of it, just because sometimes to hire somebody, if there's a minimum wage, but you're not able to pay the minimum wage, for example, and maybe if there's financial resources from organizations, then it can be partnered. So it could be a co-sharing of the financial resources. So those are some of the things that I would highlight as a potential employer, of things that I think could be used to entice employers to be able to hire more, and also just to give lay the ground for what I think is happening in Rwanda. Again, thank you very much. Happy to see a lot of familiar faces, and happy to be a part of this. Thank you very much.
Gilbert, thank you so much. Before you leave, I'm gonna give you a task. Please, can you translate that in Kinyarwanda, because now we are using both languages. Just summarize it. So okay. Eric and everybody else can follow.
Okay,
your comment.
No worries. Eric, Fidelia, Dani, namwe mwese muri kutwumva, murakoze cyane, ndishimiye kubabona. Hashize iminsi tutabonana. Nashaka gusemuraho gato ku byo navuze mu Cyongereza. Bari bambajije ku bijyanye no guha akazi abantu babana na trisomy cyangwa n'abandi babana n'ubumuga butandukanye. Nari navuze ko mu by'ukuri mu Rwanda hari abantu b'abashoramari cyangwa bakorana abakoresha mu by'ukuri bahaye akazi abantu bafite ubumuga butandukanye, ariko ntabwo ariko bose babizi. Hari n'abantu mu by'ukuri baba batazi neza ubumuga abantu babana nabwo, imbogamizi bahura nabyo, kugira ngo bashishikarizwe gutanga akazi. Ariko nkavuga yuko mu by'ukuri habayeho ubukangurambaga bwafasha abantu kumenya yuko gutanga akazi ku bantu batandukanye ari ikintu cy'ingenzi muri sosiyete tubamo, ko byafasha ari abantu bakora, ari abakoresha, ndetse n'abo bantu babana n'ubumuga butandukanye. Ni ikintu cyaba cyiza. By'umwihariko navuze noneho kuri jyewe nk'umuntu w'umukoresha cyangwa w'umushoramari, ngavuga ngo ni ibintu njyewe nshaka, nifuza gukora, ndetse nigeze no kubikora kera, ariko na n'ubu nakongera nkabikora, kubera ko ari ibintu nemera ko ari ibintu by'ingenzi. Wenda nanongeyeho yuko kenshi hari igihe abantu nkatwe cyangwa nanjye ku giti cyanjye ubu byifuza ariko utabifiteho ubushobozi, kubera ko uba udafite amakuru ahagije. Uvuga ngo uyu muntu naza, ese akeneye iki, akeneye ubufasha buhe kugira ngo azashobore gukora akazi ke, ese nakora iki cyatuma ahari bukore hatazagira abantu bazamukorera ivangura kubera ko ari umuntu ubana n'ubumuga, wenda abandi bakozi. So hakenewe amahugurwa mu by'ukuri mu bigo bitandukanye cyangwa muri amasosiyete atandukanye, kugira ngo habeho ukuntu umuntu uje abana n'ubumuga atazahungabana kubera ko yahageze, kubera ko wenda abandi bakozi batabyumva neza cyangwa bakamuvangura muri ako kazi. So cyaba ari kimwe. Ikindi nakomojeho nuko hari igihe ububasha buba budahari bw'amafaranga, kuvuga ngo umuntu araje wenda ntabwo ufite amafaranga ahagije yo kumwishyura, wenda ushobora kumwishyura igice, abandi abafatanyabikorwa nabo bakagiraho uruhare rwo kugira ngo bamufashe, bafashe iyo sosiyete yaba yemeye gufasha uwo muntu ariko wenda adafite ubwo bushobozi buhagije, bakareba inzira yo kubafasha ari ku mafaranga kugira ngo bafashe kumwishyura, cyangwa hari igihe umuntu aba akeneye transport gusa. Hari n'igihe mu by'ukuri ubushobozi buhari bw'amafaranga bwo kwishyura uwo muntu, ariko uwo muntu ugiye kuza gukoraho we akeneye uwundi muntu umuherekeza umufasha, uwo muntu noneho akaba ari we ukeneye ubwo bufasha. So ni inzira nyinshi zihari, ariko nemera yuko habayeho guhuza hamwe no kubitekereza hamwe, ibyo byose byakorwa. Ni ibyo navuze mu cyongereza kare, bari bansabye ko nasemura mu kinyarwanda kugira ngo namwe mushobore kubikurikira. Ni ibyo mu by'ukuri navuze mu cyongereza. Murakoze cyane kandi mugire umunsi mwiza.
Thank you so much, Gilbert. We know that you're very busy. If no one, I don't know if you need to go. If anybody has a question for Gilbert, in case he needs to leave, go ahead and write in the chat box. And otherwise, we have a lot of Gilberts out there, and I'm glad that Gilbert highlighted that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to attract more potential employers like him, who has a lot of questions and a lot of they don't know where to start and how to go by it. But like the presentation that just self-advocate just finished, we just saw a lot of skills that should be utilized and can be also enhanced, and it can, our self-advocate can really learn more, especially on the job, like Gilbert was mentioning it. So I don't know if do we have questions, more questions, Nathan?
Yeah, we have a few questions in the box, so maybe I can read a few out and you could translate.
Sure.
So the first one was, does Fidelia work with the till where she works? Because it's a question from Jan, and Jan said she knows someone who's traveled around Asia, Africa, and the South Pacific, and has regularly seen people with Down syndrome behind the cash register, and they've been seldom making mistakes, and they are trustworthy with money. So that was a question, I think, for Fidelia. Do you work with the cash register or the till at your work, Fidelia?
Fidelia, hari ikibazo bari kubaza wowe ku kazi, biriya n'akazi kawe, nimba ukora kuri kashe ku mafaranga.
Yego.
Ujya wakira amafaranga?
Yego.
Okay. Yeah, Fidelia does work as a cashier, but I'm going to ask more questions just to be a bit specific. Iyo wakiriye amafaranga, ni wowe usubiza ubaha exchange, ayo ni wowe bagarura cyangwa ni mama bikora? Okay, so Fidelia, she works behind the cashier, but she works in assistance with her mother. So when she received the money, the mother will help her just to tell her how much she has to give back to the customers. I don't know if it answers the question.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yep.
Thanks, Fidelia. So we've got a few other questions. So we have a question from Benjamin saying, what can we do to attract more employers?
Okay, ikindi kibazo ni Benjamin yakibajije ngo niki twakora cyo kuzana abakoresha kugira ngo tube twabona abantu benshi bashaka gukoresha abantu bafite ubumuga. Sinzi, should I give this question to one of the self-advocate? Eric cyangwa Dani, niki mubona twakora kugira ngo tugire abantu bafite ubumuga babona akazi, twe twakurura abakoresha. Mushobora kubivuga mu magambo yanyu, nta kibazo, baraza kubafasha kudusemurira. Eric. Niki twakora kugira ngo abakoresha babe bahakazana bafite ubumuga cyangwa abantu bashaka akazi nk'amwe? Eric is talking about luck. I guess it's
It's like opportunity.
Opportunity, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pacific, you go ahead.
Was talking that employer have to give opportunity to those who have those disabilities, because what I'm thinking is maybe employers do not give value or do not give opportunity to those who have disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pacifica. That's a great answer from my perspective. Opportunity is true. If people with disability don't get opportunity, then we'll never know what they're capable of. Should we?
Okay, great. That's a good answer. So we've got a few more questions. One that maybe I can answer, if that's all right. So we had a question, a similar question from Derek in Liberia and Anthony in Sierra Leone, which was, the question was, is RDSO only based in Rwanda, and are there any programs like this in Liberia or Sierra Leone? So the short answer is yes, RDSO is just based in Rwanda, but RDSO is a member of Down Syndrome International, which is a network, an international network of organizations working representing people with Down syndrome and their families. So I would suggest that if you get in contact with me or Simon, we can hopefully put you in touch with someone in Liberia or Sierra Leone, and yeah, hopefully that you can find an organization who's doing work like this in your country. So I can, Simon, maybe you can put your email in the chat, and please feel free to contact us. So that's that one. Then maybe a final question. This question is from Dorothy, and she said, what are some examples of reasonable accommodations that can be provided to persons with intellectual disabilities, or some aspects of that can support them at work?
Can you repeat the question?
So some examples of reasonable accommodations that can be provided to persons with intellectual disabilities, or some examples of support.
Hari Dorothy ari kubaza urugero rwa ubufasha, icyo umuntu yafashwa afite ubumuga kugira ngo abe abasha kuba yakora mu kazi. So I don't know if I guess this question can go to any of us, and I think I don't know if Gilbert want to answer that, or I can go ahead and try, and you guys can add. if I forget anything, but people who with disability at work, the first thing, like Gilbert mentioned in his comment, it's a safe, environment. If the environment is safe and it can be adapted to the type of disability the person has, because they're different type, then the person with disability can feel safe and feel confident to actually be part of the environment. And I think the other component will be assistance. So people with disability, if they can have somebody to assist them at work, so to accompany them in their tasks, they also can feel confident to perform their duties. So I guess from Gilbert's comment, the employer or the staff need to understand the type of disability the person has in order to help the person feel confident and feel safe in an employment environment. So I think that's what I can say for that. And Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization, as why it's assisting self-advocates, it can also assist potential employers like Gilbert and anybody else to get to understand the disability that people have, so they can really also, the employer can also feel confident to welcome the potential employees with disability. So I think it has to come from both ends, the employer and the organization helping people with disability and the person looking for a job. So working as a team, we can get the employment possible and easy for people with disability. So I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that. Maybe I can translate that in Kinyarwanda a little bit. Babazaga icyakorwa kugira ngo abantu bafite ubumuga babe babasha kuba babona akazi cyangwa yego babona akazi. Icyo navugaga nuko icyangombwa cyane nuko aho hantu haba hakozwe mu buryo hafasha uwo muntu afite ubumuga bitewe n'ubumuga afite, nuko abo bantu batanga akazi basobanukirwa uwo muntu agiye kuza, ibyo akeneye, aho akeneye gufasha, kandi hakirindwa kugira ikintu na kimwe cyamubangamira mu kazi kuko bitatuma abasha kuba yakora neza. Sinzi nimba if anybody else wants to add anything.
Sounds like a good answer.
Yeah, no, you covered most of it, Edwish. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I guess I don't know what time, how much time we have. I see a lot of comments. Maybe Simon gave his email. People can go ahead and email to Simon in the future, and we can get in touch, and Simon can give our contacts depending on the information or comment people have made.
Yes, hello, Edwidge.
Yes.
Yes, as you conclude, I would just love to answer one question that was outstanding. As someone said, what can the Rwandan government do to mitigate the challenges that people with Down syndrome face? And that can apply to any country and etc. So my encouragement to everyone who is attending is that every country has a responsibility to do something for their citizens. And when you read a law that governs and provides rights for people with disability, and that is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disability, we call it in short, the UNCRPD, specifically Article 4 provides for the responsibilities and duties of state members and etc. What states can do and etc. And one of it is try to make laws that favor or that are pro persons with the disabilities, and that includes people with Down syndrome. They can even go ahead to try to make education. And one of the things they can do is make what we call inclusive education that accommodates people with disabilities, and that is equally for people with Down syndrome. Try to provide employment for people with disability, and that equally goes to people with Down syndrome. So later on, you can get in touch with me. I can be able to share with you that piece of legislation, the UNCRPD, and you can really read it and can help you in advocating for the fundamental rights of people with disability, and that includes people with Down syndrome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon. Hari umuntu yari yabajije icyo guverinoma yafasha ku bantu bafite ubumuga by'akazi cyangwa n'ibindi byose. Simon yasubizaga avuga yuko ari inshingano ya buri gihugu kugira ngo kibe cyafasha buri muntu wese afite ubumuga kugira ngo abe yabasha gutera imbere, ari mu burezi, ari mu kazi, nk'uko yabivugaga. Bikaba biri muri imishyikirano mpuzamahanga y'abantu bafite ubumuga, kandi iyo mishyikirano yabayeho u Rwanda rwarayisinye, rwemera yuko ruzafasha abantu bafite ubumuga bakagira uburenganzira bungana na buri muntu wese. So nimba hari umuntu ashaka, ushobora no kujyana kuri Google ukaba wabona iyo mishyikirano yitwa UNCRPD, ariko na Simon yari yatanze contact ye, mwamwandikira ku buryo ashobora kubaha izo information. Nanjye ndashaka kwandika email yanjye ku buryo nandi mwanyandikira nkaba nafasha kubaha ayo makuru, ariko n'amakuru asanzwe ari ahantu hose. So just try to summarize a little bit, especially about the UNCRPD and responsibility of each country to accommodate people with the Down syndrome or with disability in general. So I don't know how we're doing with time, or if we have anything else.
Possibly it might be good to wrap up.
Yes. Yes. I think, Edwidge, you can make a wrap up now, as you had said.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to thank everyone for joining this webinar, and everyone for supporting Rwanda Down Syndrome Organization, Self Advocates. As you see them here, we have a lot of people with Down syndrome. Not everyone can really make it to this meeting, but they're gonna get to see the audio or the video. It has been recorded, and we still do have a long way to go. As everybody knows, in Rwanda, it's not a long time ago that we started advocating on people, specifically for people with Down syndrome. It has been disability in general, but we also want to thank the government of Rwanda for its efforts. There's been a lot that's been it's been done recently to promote the lives of people with disability. The implementation has been a little bit challenging. I spoke to one person who's a member of the National Umbrella for Organization for People with Disability, and he couldn't join today because he had another meeting, but he mentioned that the government has the willing to support people with disability, but the resources are still a challenge in Rwanda. So they're still working on the resources, both human resources and materials, especially at in education and employment. I'm pretty sure also is one of the component that need to be also looked at, because anyway. So in brief, I think it really went well. Thank you so much for people from all over the world that joined this webinar. Thank you for supporting us. We're here also to support you. together we can really make a huge difference. So I'm gonna say in Kinyarwanda and thank our self-advocate and their supporter, people, especially the family. Without the family, we couldn't really have been able to have this webinar happening. Dani and Tristan, thank you so much, Tristan, for making assisting Dani. Thank you, Diana, for assisting Fidelia. Thank you, Pacific, for assisting Eric, Gilbert, Simon, Nathan, everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this webinar. We hope to continue this advocacy. This is the beginning. We should be able to do a lot and make a change. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything on thank you, not if I forgot anyone, but feel free to reach out with Simon's contact. I haven't really shared mine, but Simon can really give our contact, all of us, Nathan, I, and everyone else. And I can also share the contact of Eric or Dani and Fidelia. So I want to thank everyone for joining today. And Gilbert, sorry.
So thank you, and kindly next, we have another, as we have said in the introduction, we have 5 webinar meetings planned for employment advocacy for persons with intellectual disabilities in Rwanda, Kenya, Nigeria, Bangladesh, and Uganda here. And now we are having the next webinar meeting on the 28th and 29th and 30th. Kindly, it's my plea and humble prayer that you kindly join us again and support us. Thanks so much for today. And we wish you a lovely weekend. Thank you from me and the team. See you then.
Raised hand from Benjamin D.